You seen him, not me. You the killer, nigga. Fuck is you afraid of if you seen him? So go do it. I don't give a fuck who you slap, nigga. Go do it. Go do it, killer. Killer, go do it, killer. Go do it, killer. Go do it, killer. Fuck you, bitch, pussy. Fuck you. Fuck that nigga. I'ma give you the same motherfucking energy though, nigga. The same energy. Fuck out of here.
I came to have a conversation with you by myself. Like, really, literally, by myself. Nobody else, just by myself. Please understand something. You going to a point where there's no return. No return. I don't care about you sending the police to my house. I don't give a fuck about you calling an order, getting an order protection. I don't give a fuck about you playing audios of me talking shit back and forth with you, which you call threats. I don't care. You getting way too disrespectful. When people talk the way you talk, you should be able to back it up.
I don't care who you got in your corner. I don't give a fuck about Rob Prophet. I don't care about nobody.
Have these two men been working together in building traffic and building subscribers and building views, and have they been collaborating together in a fake beef? Now listen, man, New York is a small place, and these two men know where each other were. They knew where each other was. You know, Saneter, he was on, 125th, walking around the neighborhoods, asking people questions. You know, Hassan, he's in Bronx River Projects. He's on the streets. He's walking around the Bronx. It's not hard for these two brothers to find each other. But somehow, some way or another, these two never bumped into each other. I remember the whole time where Saneter pulled out the gun and he's talking about he's looking for him. I honestly believe that these two men have been working together in a fake beef, and using that fake beef to build streams and build, subscribers and build your traffic to their respective sites. There's no way that these two men could have been beefing for this long. Guns drawn, you talk about my wife have cancer, you talk about my wife as a crackhead, you talk about my children are ugly, and for them to just meet up months later, it's disingenuous. And I don't believe that these two men were ever had a beef. I believe that these two men were collaborating together. I believe that these two men were doing things together to create revenue and create traffic into their respective sites. They were beefing with each other heavily, calling each other names, pulling out guns, the straps. Now all of a sudden it's all peace. And another thing I want to talk about with Saneter, I don't know someone that beefs with someone, right? Now, peep Saneter. I don't know someone that beefs with someone and calls them during the beef. During their whole, beef with each other, I've seen Saneter go on the phone and call Hassan and say, "Hey man, I'm doing a show about you. Hey man, want to call you, see how things are going." I don't know someone that beefs with someone for 3 years. Calls their wife a crackhead, makes fun of their children, says that the children are retarded, they look retarded, make jokes about Hassan being sexually molested and sexually assaulted. I don't know someone that calls someone up and conversates them and give them, give them leeway and give them a call to let them know they're doing a show about them. Where do they do that at? And those two men even met up with each other, did an interview after all of that was said. Listen, if you say something about my child, about being retarded, you say something about my wife having cancer, you say something about my kids, and then you pulling out guns, and you expected for us to just piece it up after that? Where did they do that at? Have Hassan and saneter been scamming us all along? Have these two been collaborating with each other? Saneter is the king of deception. He's the king of... I want to say this. He's the king of people beefing with each other. How many times have we seen videos of him going against the Hebrew Israelite community, disrespecting them, disrespecting their doctrine? Just because you don't believe in their doctrine or you don't subscribe to their doctrine doesn't mean you have to piss on their doctrine, piss on what their belief is. And saneter is not a scholar. This man is not a scholar. He can't go up. He wouldn't go up against any of those Hebrew Israelite brothers. And I'm talking about any of those brothers that's on the streets. He's not gonna go one up with a Captain Tazariak or Chadazar. He's not gonna go 1-on-1 in a scholastic battle. He'll send his little minions. He'll send Saka up most. He'll send a Jabari, but he won't go out there and do his work. Saneter is not a scholar. He gets on his platform and he takes two brothers that believe in two different doctrines and he lets them go at it. Instead of bringing these brothers together, you're supposed to be the king of consciousness, the house of consciousness. You would think that this man would bring brothers together for a common goal, especially with all that's going on in the world today. Black men being shot down, being killed like dogs into the streets. You would think instead of having a debate about what's better, Kemet or Hebrew Israelite, you would think that he would take these two brothers from these two communities and put them together for a common goal together, but he doesn't do that. He works like an agent. The white man is the king of deception, the king of confusion. And Hassan said this one time, and when he said this, he blew my mind. He said, saneter is an agent. And when you think about an agent, when you think about a federal informant or a federal person, when they get into those ranks and when they get into those communities and when they get into those organizations, their main objective is to cause disruption in those communities. Instead of being friends with all of these communities and bringing all of these brothers together for a common goal, he constantly has debate after 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 debate. We're tired of the debates, saneter. You're poisoning the community. You're not helping the community. And I don't give a hell about what you've done in the past. What are you doing for people now? You got brothers like George Floyd being killed in the streets. You got, black women having their house being invaded by the police and being murdered in the streets. Why aren't you bringing those brothers from those communities to talk about that? And having those brothers from those communities and from those different doctrines and from those different organizations, why aren't you bringing those brothers together for a common goal? Why do we need debate after debate after debate after debate after debate? It gets us nowhere. And I believe that saneter is the main orchestrator of this. I believe that saneter came to Hassan. Hassan wasn't messing with this dude in the beginning. I do believe in my head, Hassan truly did believe that he got set up at one point. But I truly believe that saneter said, he called him one day. I believe saneter called up Hassan and he said, listen, man, I've been looking at the views. I've been looking at the traffic that this whole beef between me and you is getting. We got to keep this thing going. And Hassan saw the traffic, and he saw the things that was going on, and he saw all of the comments and the likes and the traffic that was coming into these sites and coming into this beef, into this supposed beef. And he said, you know what? I'm trying to build my platform. This is early. I'm not talking about now. Now, you know, his subscribers is up, his views is up. I'm saying back then, when he first started, when he first started messing with saneter. This was around the time where he was still saying that, you know, he alleged that he got himself set up. That saneter set him up with Tawfiq. But now when you look at it, I believe that saneter has been the orchestrator of all of this. Have these two brothers been scamming us all along with a fake beef? Because I don't know anybody that beefs with someone for 4 years, calls each other's wives, you know, all types of, you know, F them, they had cancer, your wife look ugly, and your wife is a crackhead. I don't know somebody that, I can't talk to people like that on the streets and expect for them not to see me. I can't talk to somebody that I grew up with or that I know or somebody in my community and talk about their wife, talk about their children, and expect to go outside and be safe, or expect to link up and do an interview, or to expect for them to call me up and say, hey man, how's it going? I'm doing a show about you. Have these two brothers been scamming us all along? That's my take. I'm True and Living. Thank you for joining me.